option of, so however, I don't have that choice of live streaming it. Now that might be something you don't actually have set up. And the way that I originally set that up is in my Zoom .us. Actually on the desktop, there's a place in there that allows you to live stream. Now, the other question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I can live stream.
Okay, so let's try it. So you go ahead and try it. And just by choosing the VIP that we always do.
So I'm live streaming right now. What should I be doing?
So you're screen sharing, that's different than live streaming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No worries whatsoever. Have you ever live streamed into another Facebook group or somewhere else?
You know, I haven't, but I can. Right now, I'm looking at live to Facebook, live to Workplace by Facebook, or live into YouTube. So
yeah, so if you click on live to Facebook, if we can actually set it up. It might not be ready, but
live to Facebook.
Live to Facebook. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pop up another screen behind you. And so we normally have to minimize the zoom to find that screen. And it's a thing in Facebook that says, okay, where you want me to live stream to?
Okie doke. Momentito, señora.
I love it when you speak Spanish to me.
Are you there? This one, right?
I can't see what you're seeing.
Okay.
You could, I guess you could screen share and show me, but.
I just clicked it.
So if you click it automatically, it will just stream to your timeline, which you don't want. You want it to go to a group, and you're choosing the Elite VIP group.
Uh-oh.
You're not live streaming yet, or we would get notification anyway.
Okay.
When you first do that, there's a go live button, so you're safe for a bit.
Share on your own timeline, and you say I should go to
a group.
I don't see that option coming up.
Maybe screen share then, so I can see what's going on, because I can't do it at the same time as you.
Yep. Where are we here? Oh. Okay, one moment. Screen share.
Okay, so when you click on the share to Facebook, or like it's under more, yeah. And then you go live on Facebook. Okay, so yeah, you've never done it before, so you're going to have to say yes to all this first.
Continue, right?
Yes. And now right there, share to your own timeline. Click on the down arrow there. And then share to your group. So it's not going to let you share to Mike's group, but that's okay. Let's share it to your group if you want. Now you have to go in and find the group. Oh yeah, this might work because you're in Mike. So type in the Elite VIP.
Oh, up here?
Yep. There you go. Let's see if it's going to give you permission. Now, if you just scroll down, go live.
Cool.
And it's working. We are live. So this is perfect. You can stop sharing your screen and we are all if you look back up in the corner right now, it says we are recording and we are live streaming. So it's exactly the same process for YouTube once you have YouTube set up. We first have to go into our YouTube accounts and ask for permission. So there's a little bit more of a step. And I believe it took me a couple days to get permission because I wasn't active on YouTube before that. So we're here, we're starting. Matt, I'm going to let you take it away and just start this. I'm going to go behind the scenes and I'm going to start inviting some people over here.
Okay. So, well, I tell you what, the way I normally start is whoever is here, I would like them to do like a 1 to 2 minute introduction of who they are, Terry, and, you know, what are you looking towards in terms of this particular Zoom, and where you're headed, essentially. Just a sort of a brief, it's almost like a signature talk, but 1 to 2 minutes. So each person gets to vocalize at the start of the Zoom, you know, and if we had a whole bunch of people, then everybody would go through that and then we would start the regular Zoom. So if you would.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. I wasn't really sure what this was. I literally just happened to see Debbie's invite, and so I popped on. I'm really glad that this is about the Zoom, though, because I was wanting to find out more about this. So this is perfect. Thank you, Debbie and Mike. So, hi, I'm Terry Wilson. I have completed the DPS course. I got my course approved on Mastermind today.
Awesome.
This morning. Yeah, so I've been getting, a lot of congratulations in the group. So that's been awesome. It was like a lot more than I really expected. So yeah, Debbie, I think your thing was working. and trust me, I was thinking about you as I was scrolling through answering all these people.
Wonderful.
But I do know how to YouTube. I do have a small YouTube channel. It's just something that I created to learn how to do videos and probably to become more confident in talking. But I don't I don't encourage people to subscribe, or, I don't ask them to do anything, but that's going to change. So, because I'm going to be dropping links below for people to go click on if they're interested. But I don't know. I've only participated in Zoom calls and I haven't actually set up one. So hearing Debbie explain to you about, the co-host stuff and different, that's helpful. And watching this was really helpful too. So I don't know anything about actually setting up a Zoom call and doing all that kind of stuff. I'm just been the participant.
Super, super. That's really cool. And, one of the things that I'm thinking is maybe what I could have, because Deb is the pro here, is to have her run what she do, what she sees as shortcuts in Zoom. And when she finishes, I will see if I can try and set up a Zoom with screen share.
Oh,
I've done that before. And so we can try that.
Yeah, okay. I can take notes. That's great.
Yeah, and I apologize because I love this whole idea of the Zoom training, and I haven't been on Matt's 2 previous, and I wanted to be able to watch his recordings so that I knew what he'd taught and what he hadn't, and I haven't done that. So to be totally honest, people might get it twice, and I hope that they don't get it 2 different opinions, because that can confuse people. So again, guys, as a computer, I ran computer stores, several of them for many years. There's always many ways to do things. So it isn't a matter of Debbie taught me this way and Matt taught me that. Use whatever works for you. And a lot of my knowledge with Zoom is kind of just getting thrown into the fire. And so figuring it out, because you had to figure it out quickly. So that's kind of more my talk today, is things that you're going to need to know on the fly versus like the pre-set up and the get ready. So hopefully this helps. And if nothing else, you have the recording, and then you can go back and listen to more of Matt's stuff that's more of the setup and the why you do things and things like that.
Super, super.
Okay, do you want me to just take it away?
Madame, the floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, as always, I say you have to be intentional about the outcome. So what is it that you're using Zoom for? Is it, like, I just want to speak with my friends and I don't really care about breakout rooms and I don't care about anything. Somebody sets me up as a link, or my daughter sets me a link, and then that's it. I join it. So that's one way to use Zoom. But as a professional, Zoom can be really powerful. Now, I actually have the program that I can run webinars as well as Zoom rooms like this. So in a webinar setting, it's only the speaker on stage and the other people, they can ask questions. So more of that versus like the chat that we have now. So today, everything I'm going to talk about is this kind of Zoom room, but know that if you ever wanted to learn more about webinars and why you'd use them versus another, then we can go into a different conversation at a different time. So in this, I'm going to I actually am going to teach you how to make somebody else a co-host, because we're going to make Terry a co-host so that she can practice some of the things and see the buttons that we're all seeing. Perfect. So in order to do that, when you are the one that sets up the meeting, you're automatically host. If in your Zoom setup, which is zoom.us, when you sign into your account, if you had it that other people could join before you, which I never suggest, but if you had that, when they come in first, they're the host until you get there. So as soon as you become host, it transfers them back, but it may make them a co-host. Now, co-host comes with responsibilities and with different permissions. So it's not something you just want everybody in your Zoom room to have. But here's how you do it. You click on participants. On an extra screen will pop up here. And when it does, you will see who's the host, who's the co-host. And then I just click on Terry's name, click on more, and say, oh, I can't make her. It has to be you, Matt, that does it, unless you gave me hosting permissions, which is fine.
I will do that right now.
Okay.
So more. Oh, so I would click on Terry more and make Terry a co-host.
That's right.
Oh.
So some of the other things that happens when you are, depending on how you've set your Zoom up. So I'm kind of talking bigger than what you guys want or ready for, but I just want you to know that this is possible. In some Zooms that you go into and we're networking, there's a whole bunch of us and we don't know each other. You might have the host say to them, everybody rename themselves with your Instagram handle, so that then people can screen share that and then they go and they connect on Instagram afterwards. But in places like Dean's classes, Project Next, we take that permission away from them. They can't rename themselves. And we do it for a reason, because people will go in and promote themselves. They'll change it to their business name instead of their personal name. They'll type in their phone numbers and say, contact me. So again, guys, pay attention to all of those permissions you're giving somebody. Now, if by chance you have given away too many permissions, such as, here's an example, is I've set up a workshop and I've got 100 people coming to it, and they are coming in and then they're unmuting themselves and they're talking and it's causing chaos. Right. All I have to do is go down to the bottom in security. And I just take the check mark off of unmute themselves. And when I do that,
should I do that? Should you?
Sure. Go ahead. I don't know if it'll stop us because we're co-hosts.
No, but you can see that I pressed it on the screen.
No, we're not seeing a screen share anymore, Matt.
No problem.
But you can.
No problem.
You can definitely go ahead and do a screen share, and then the people watching this on the other side can see it. Please go ahead. Sure. That's fine.
Well, you know, I think it's easy enough. You've explained that they would just click the mute button and you have all these choices, right? And one of them is to mute the people. So I'll leave it as it is. I'll leave it as it is.
Well, there's a few other settings in there that I can go through if you do this. Let's do it. Let's you screen share.
Okay, I'll screen share. Ta-da. Okay, well, you need to tell me if you can see this. Can you see that?
I can see it, yeah. So it wasn't the mute button that I had said to do it. It was the security button. So move on over to security.
Oh, I see. Security is kind of buried down there.
Is it? We see it. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I see it as well. But
Okay.
I have, for some reason, I have two of these. And I'm not sure whether it's because I'm sharing twice somewhere else. I mean, there's so much abracadabra out there. Don't worry about it. I'll go with security.
There you go. So let's start at the top. Locking a meeting would mean no more people can come in. Enabling your waiting community is checked. So right now that's meaning that if somebody wants in, they knock. And Terry, I don't know if you've ever heard that, because unless you're a co-host, or the way I set mine up is nobody hears it but the co-host and the host, and it's a ding dong, like a bell, and then you got to go answer them. One of the things that can be bad about that is that people can be sitting in their waiting room and you didn't hear it because you were white into your presentation, and it causes problems. So yeah, go ahead.
You know what? I have I see. That's the Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because I thought that maybe there was something going on here. Okay, cool. I'm back.
Okay, so go ahead and click on security again, and I'll show you some of the other thingamajiggers there.
Okay. Let me move this guy up.
And that can be moved right up to the top, so it's out of your way.
Gotcha. So yeah. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, I am.
You know what? Hang on a second, Deb. Sorry. I'll do the bottom security. That's better. Then you don't get blocked out.
Yep, perfect. So from the top down, we've talked about lock meeting, enable waiting room, hide profile photos. What that is for is if people are not on camera, and some people they'll put a profile photo in that's all about their business. Call me at such and such, or here's what I do. You can literally hide those people that are not on camera so that they don't show up. And then allow participants. This is really important. Are you going to allow other people to screen share? Again, realize.
I do at the moment. I do at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you're seeing in terms of the security settings are what I have as my standard settings.
If
right?
the check mark is on there, yes, we're seeing it as your standard.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So the reason that you wouldn't allow them to screen share is, remember, you're giving people permission to show your audience things. And not everybody's nice in Zoom rooms. So go ahead. If that ever happens, you just take the check mark off and you're good.
Great.
The same thing with chat. I have had meetings where people have specifically come in to try to steal your people.
Yes.
So they aren't one bit interested in listening to you. They are chatting behind the scenes with other people.
Yep.
So just take the check mark off a chat and they won't be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I even see that when Tony and Dean are presenting, that there are some people in the chat that aren't even looking at the video. They're just chatting to people and, oh, come and see me afterwards. Da, 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 da. You're quite right. They just often promoting, stealing, so to speak.
Yeah, there's people that tell me that they pay for these tickets to get in front of those audiences.
Yeah.
It's not my way of doing things, as you guys well know, but be aware that there is people out there. So the same thing, we talked about renaming themselves. We also talked about unmuting themselves.
Yep.
So I have my Zoom rooms set up that the minute they come into my room, they're muted. Their cameras are on and they're muted. And I do it that way so that there are no mistakes, especially people that use their phones. They don't realize they're not muted. And so it's just, especially if you're recording, it's so much background noise trying to mute them. So I'm going to give you guys all a shortcut PDF file at the end of this. I'll get Matt to email it out to you as a freebie. And it's the ones that I use all the time. And there's ways to mute everybody at once so that if all of a sudden a whole bunch of chaos happens, you just quickly mute them and continue on with your presentation.
Super, super. Yeah, and you know, Deb, my standard setting is to have them muted and the video off. That way, because sometimes people click to come on, but they're not expecting to be on video. You know, so I prefer that they make that choice of joining me both on video and on sound.
I agree with you, but now Zoom has that. Zoom actually says to them right before they start, are you sure you want to join with video on or off? So they've kind of taken care of that for you, but I agree with your comment there. And the reason that I make them turn the video on is that that is the standard I'm setting, the intention that if you're going to be with me, I want you present. I don't want you off doing something because my time is valuable. And so I want you with me and present, but it's just how my meetings are. Everybody has to decide for their own why they do things a certain way. And then I think the rest.
I may change mine. That sounds like a good idea. You know, I mean, yeah, if you're here, show me, right? Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
And Matt, one of the people that I learned this from, and you can go ahead and stop sharing for a second because we'll be done there for a minute. One of the people that I learned a lot of this from was KK, who works for Tony Robbins. You guys know her. She's the one that comes and does the introductions. Well, what you see of her inside of the Tony Robbins world is like a thousandth of what she's capable of. She is an amazing trainer. And I've taken courses with her. I took 3 in a row back to back of 12-week courses. And it's called Unleash Her Power Within, which is Tony Robbins. She was prepping people to go to UPW, which is Tony's UPW 3-day thing, 4-day. She got us so ready for Tony that it was like, it was unbelievable. It's now an official program. She was originally doing it on the side because she knew that people were coming. They hadn't read his emails. They hadn't done the homework. They hadn't prepped their space. They weren't sure of what they wanted. They hadn't set their intention. So she was doing it to sell. She was selling for Tony, but that was her way of selling, is by providing value. It's kind of like how you guys all ended up in the Elite VIP. We believed in Dean's product, but we knew that Dean alone wouldn't get you as far as we could if we did it with you. So she kind of did the same thing. So with KK, her energy is the same as it is on Tony's stage. Guys, I feed off of your energy. So if you aren't typing in the chat and telling me that you hear me or quoting me, I'm just going to sit back and go, well, they don't even care what I say. So I'm the same way. I want engagement. I want to feel like I'm standing in front of you. If you wouldn't like look down at your phone and do other things when you were in a real live presentation with me, then don't treat me like crap and do it in a Zoom room. That's just my standards. Yeah, I'm glad it resonated. But again, what I'm teaching you guys is you set the standards. If somebody isn't treating you with respect, or you're frustrated because they're talking behind the scenes with themselves, or they're chit-chatting, or they're not paying attention, don't be mad at them. Look at what you're doing. You probably didn't set the standards and told them what your expectations. I like how Matt started this whole thing. He said, I like you to introduce yourself and tell me what you want out of this. And then that next step is always, now that I've heard everybody to say what they wanted out of this, here's what I'm hoping to provide you. And if there's a bit of a misunderstanding or a gap in what I'm teaching and what you thought you were coming for, then that might give you an idea of what session number 2 or series number 2 should look like. Yes. But stay with what you bring into the table for today. Okay, I've gone off subject a few times. The other thing is that you can give other people permission to record. Now, I don't do it. There's never a reason for me. And especially if you're live streaming into another Facebook group, like especially your own, because you've got 2 sets of recordings. You've got the one that's going to your desktop or cloud, and you've got the other one that's going to sit inside Facebook. Like technology happens. So I always want a backup of something. Right. So even if I wasn't like, so if this was a paid course and I wanted to save a copy somewhere else, like have my 2 backups, I wouldn't necessarily send it into my free community, but I would send it into a dummy community. So I have other Facebook groups that are just sitting there for practice, right?
Oh, wow.
This is the thing that I practice. I do a presentation. I also do things like if I don't know how to do an event or whatever, I test it inside of a dummy group. At this point, Facebook allows us to do this stuff free. Why aren't we taking advantage of it, right?
Awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah. What are some other things that I want to teach you? Do you have any questions so far, guys?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So some of the things that I see happen, and I might have already said it because this is off the fly. So people will come in and be loud. So how do we mute them all at once? If you guys look down at the bottom, now that you're co-host, you should see a button under participants that says mute all.
Yep. Yep, I see it.
That's all you do is you hit that button. And then in the shortcuts that I send you, if you're on a desktop computer, there's shortcuts that'll do those things for you. And I'll send you that PDF, or Matt will send that out to everybody. But that one's a super handy one to know. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's super handy to know is you're sitting in a room, you're doing your presentation, everything's going good. You can hear your phone going off, ding, 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 ding. And you're like, somebody's trying to get a hold of me and get into this room. So what you can do there is to quickly find the link is just control command I. Whoops. Or sorry, it's just command I. It's not control command I. And when you do command I, it should pop up and say copy the link or copy the invite.
It's not happening here for me.
Are you on a Mac? Are you on a?
I'm on a Mac.
Okay, so command is that one that looks like a 4 corners, and I.
Yeah. Oh wow, cool. Gotcha.
Okay. Oh. So now you see right there that if your contacts were in this, if you've actually put your contacts in Zoom so that they are here before we even start, then you can literally invite them on the fly. But if you don't, then you're copying either the link, which is just the ID, or the whole invitation, depending on how well you know these people and where you're copying and pasting it to. And then I just quickly go over into the Zoom room, or sorry, the Facebook group, or the event page, or Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, all the places you talk to people, and get it in there quickly so that you don't have to have a conversation behind the scenes. and interrupt your flow. But talking about interrupting your flow, when you first start this, it's always great to have a co-host so that that person can literally turn their camera off and just do things behind the scenes, and it's not interrupting anything, and it feels very professional, and no one even knew there was a hiccup happening.
Very good. Very
How
good.
did you get the image on there when you hid your camera?
That's something you set up in the zoom.us when you set up an account, whether it's a free account or whether it's a paid account. You have the capability of putting in like this Debbie empowerment coach. That's something I could add, maybe because I'm a paid account, I'm not sure, but there's certain things you get to do, and it's well worth looking through all of those choices and setting things up. One of the things you can set up is your Zoom invite.
There I are.
Yeah. So Terry, when you turn yours off, it's probably just going to say Terry Wilson in a black screen.
What do I do? Put stop video?
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah, so just a black screen.
Yeah. So that's all you're doing. So you'll see a lot of people now, just because we're tired of doing our hair every time we want to go on Zoom, they will just come to a meeting and they will just have their video off and you feel like you're talking to them. But again, you set the standards. So if that's what you're okay with, because you're just speaking, then okay. But if you want engagement and interaction, or it's something like my Dare to Dream session where I need feedback from them so that I know how far they're going, then they always need cameras on, cameras on, cameras on. That's just the rule there is.
I actually had a situation once, maybe almost a couple years ago now, where I had to set that standard with somebody who was in person. They and another person had agreed to come over to my house, and the three of us were going to hang out, and we were going to bake cookies and do all kinds of stuff. And she decided that she just wanted to play some mindless game on her phone instead of hanging out with me and the other person. And I said to the other person, I said, no, one, I don't allow anybody into my space. And if you're going to actually interact with me, or you're not going to be around me. And that was actually like the last straw with that person. So I'm like, I'm giving her back as your friend.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
it's boundaries, and it's about being comfortable with who you are and what value you bring to the table. Right? Our time is always valuable, whether we're making cookies with somebody or we're watching a TV show. Same thing. I wouldn't want somebody on their phone the whole time I was sitting beside them on a couch watching TV. It's just disrespectful. So boundaries. So I love that, Terry. Yeah. Is there any other questions? Because I got off topic there again.
You said something about adding context to Zoom. I'm sure once I get in there, I'll try and do that on my laptop, because I normally do everything on my phone right here. It's just easier to have everything all in one place. But I will do that on my laptop, and I'll be able to go through the different options and see what the different things are. And I'm sure it'll make a lot more sense then. Yeah,
they call it a Zoom client app. And if you go into Zoom account itself, it'll say download the Zoom client. So I don't normally have to go into zoom.us in order to schedule a meeting or do any of my stuff, because I just hit this little icon on the bottom and it does all that for me. So it acts very much like the phone app. However, you have to import your contacts in there in order for to do it on the fly like that. Now there is different ways, right? You can go and you could use Google Calendar instead and connect your Zoom to Google Calendar, and all your emails are already there. So that's a different way. Same thing, just using different devices, which one's better for you. So perfect. Okay, who wants to practice doing breakout rooms? This is something that I think is super important. It makes your meetings really powerful. So if we're all co-hosts, we all should see the breakout room choice there. And I'm going to get you, Matt. Actually, maybe I can share my screen.
Virtual breakout.
Yeah.
No, that's the background, not breakout.
Matt, I'm going to get you to share your screen and I'll walk you through it. That's easier.
Okay.
Okay, so you click on breakout. Where is it for you? It must be under more. Yeah, breakout rooms.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, and right here is where you decide. So let's imagine that instead of 3 people, we're 30 people. So what we would do if we wanted 2 people per room and we have 30 people, we have to create 15 rooms. So right there, we just type in 15. Now for you, you won't do it this way. Because of course it would say like, there's only 3 of you, but you would, I'll just walk you through it first. So you would create 15 rooms of 2 to a room, and you can either assign it automatically where I don't know who gets paired with who, which I love. I love how the universe pairs us with the exact right person we're meant to. Or if like in VIP, in Elite VIP, when we want to actually put 1 instructor per unit in with people. So we might say, okay, we want 4 to a room. So everybody has 2 minutes and we want 1 instructor with that. So there's going to be 5. So there's always going to be some thinking ahead or some math. And when we do that, we do it assign manually. Now, if you click on assign manually right now, yeah, go ahead.
Quick question, Deb. Are you seeing on your screen breakout room, create a breakout room? Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, good,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you click on assign manually, I'll show you what it looks like.
It's dotted as assigned manually. So I go create.
No, it's on automatic and you want manual.
Oh. Do I do it now?
Yes, you do. So now it knows that there's 3 of us here.
He only had 1 room.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So go back,
Click add room at the
Sorry.
bottom.
Delete room? No.
Well,
Add
you
room
can
at the
do it-
bottom.
Sorry, got a delay here. You can add 2 more rooms. Okay, now what which should have happened, I actually want to do it the other way because it should have showed us all the names. So yeah, just exit out with the red dot there. Yeah, now try again. So breakout rooms.
Maybe I can just delete room, right?
Or go recreate down at the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay.
Except for you did the same thing. You still got 1 room.
Oh, and
So
you don't want any room at all?
we want 3 rooms.
Go to recreate. Change it to 3.
There you go. Thank you.
Recreate.
Up.
3 rooms.
Up. Recreate 3 breakout room. There you go. I see how that goes.
Is that it?
Well, normally you'd see the people's names, but that's okay. Click on assign. And now you're getting a choice of which rooms these guys want to go in. So put me in 1 room. Now,
Gotcha.
remember, guys, we're assuming there's 10 extra people. Now you see that there's a room here that doesn't have anybody. Now, if you click on assign, it's going to have nobody there. So, right? So
Yeah.
that's okay. Go open all rooms.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is you would join room number 3. Now I know that I made that way more complicated than it had to be.
So how do I join room number 3?
So if you just click back up.
To
Yeah,
room number 3?
Not now. Yeah.
Close them? Sorry, I'm not under.
It's asking you to join room number 1. Say not now.
I don't see the joining the room bit on my.
Oh, sorry. I'm seeing that's on my screen. I'm sorry. I apologize. So if you hover over room number 3.
Yep. It
Normally
highlights me.
Yeah. Does it give you anything that says join this room?
Well, right now, because you're talking, but now if it's just me, how about, wait a moment. No, that's not it.
Okay. Then just go up to one of our rooms and click, hover over it, and it should give you a choice to join that room.
No.
Go over to where the number 1 is. There's something we're missing here.
So I can move you and I can move Terry, but I can't do nothing.
Yeah. Okay, just let me do it here on my screen so that I can figure out what's going on.
Okay. So are you going to be screen sharing?
No, I'm just looking to see
Okay,
if I have
cool.
the same choices. Okay, let's do it with just 2 rooms. Let's close this out altogether.
Yep. They're all closed out.
And then breakout rooms. Oops, sorry. Let's see what you're seeing.
I'm trying to find breakout rooms.
It's under more.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're all there.
And we're all there. So like click delete room for all of those so that we can start over. You know why it wouldn't probably do it is because this was a manual. So that's my fault. Okay, so we're going to only make 2 rooms this time.
So do I add a room right now?
Yeah, go ahead and add 2 rooms.
Room number 4 came up.
Yeah, I don't know. And add 1 more. Okay, now assign those to me and Terry. And Terry, when it asks us to join, we will actually join these rooms.
Okay.
And then say, go ahead and say open room.
Okay. Hello, hello. You disappeared.
Yeah. And so what I was trying to show you is that you could actually join one of those rooms.
Okay.
So once we were both gone, and Terry, I'm just going to get you to broadcast a message to her right now. So see down at the bottom where it says broadcast message to all.
Yep.
Okay, when you do that, you say, Terry, click on the button that says leave room.
Yep. Okay.
Now she should get that message and she should come back to us. And what I love to use broadcast message for, when I first send them to the room, I will say, remind them that they have 2-minute sheets to share, or here's the topic we're talking about. And then I like to give them the warning when it's the next person's time. And then I like to give them one more broadcast when it's like, it's time to come back. Yeah, you can go ahead and close the room to bring her back too.
Okay.
Okay, Terry, you are back.
Hello, Terry.
She might have turned her camera off because she was stuck in a room by herself and she was bored.
Yeah, she turned off the camera.
Yeah. So the other thing that you can do to give yourself more space, you opened up the participants button when we were adding people as co-hosts. But if you click on that little top arrow, the top arrow right beside the word participant, you can close that out and give yourself more screen room.
Oh, yeah.
There's just no importance for it to be there.
Yeah, I
Unless
normally have it open, you know, because somebody can come in and join. Like right now, Terry's joining.
yeah, but you wouldn't need it when Terry's joining. You should be getting a button that says admit Terry.
I see Terry is there and she comes in as co-host. But if somebody else, you know, of all the people that we have invited, if somebody else wanted to come in right now, even though we're deep into the Zoom, they would show up and I would know, and they would be asked to admit.
Okay,
right?
So yes, you're right, but it also should flash across the top of your screen. You shouldn't have to be inside that screen to see that.
Ah, okay.
However you do it the way you want. All I'm saying is that when you're screen sharing, you're using up valuable
Space.
screen space that we are seeing. So if somebody was looking at this on a phone, they would be seeing this white participants as well.
Gotcha. Should I stop share?
Yeah, go ahead and stop sharing. I think that the breakout rooms, there's a better way for me to explain it. So I will figure that out and get that done. But basically what the whole gist of it is that if you are, if you have people and you want them in a breakout room and you don't care whose room they end up in, such as masterminds or circles or just connecting and networking, then you just automatically it happens.
Okay.
But if you want to manually do it so that one of the teachers can be in, or the senior people that are experienced that are be in each room, then you can assign them manually. The other thing that you can do as the host, you can click on it and you can say join room number 3. So that's what I will do often in our circles is I'll leave one room with one less person in it, and then I will go join that room. Now I can also pop from room to room to room if I want to go check it out in say I'm giving like 15 minutes to do a big reflection time. I can pop in and out. The other thing that you guys may not be aware of is that when you're in a room, there's a button, and I couldn't see it when you were doing that says request help. And that actually gives me a notification out here in the main area that says Matt's looking for me in room number 5, and I can just go in and join it.
Okay.
Now,
I think it would be really helpful if we get a bunch of people so that we actually have a number of rooms.
Yeah, and practice
training. It would be really cool.
I agree. And that's what I'd said about practice time. Breakout rooms is one of the most confusing things for people to do. But once you get it, you look like a Zoom hero, honestly, because you can on the fly set these up and you don't need that co-host because even KK, she's amazing, but she would be like, I need somebody to set these up. I can't be thinking of how many rooms, or like what will happen is somebody will set up one room and they all end up in it, or they'll set up a room and they're supposed to be with 4 other people and they're sitting in a room by themselves because somebody hit the wrong button. So again, the more practice time that people can get this, where they're all co-hosts and they can set up rooms, you get really confident in when you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. You know how to get yourself out of it. The one thing I wanted to mention, and Mike mentioned it in one of our originals, that in my Empowering You circle, I join the rooms because they're not recorded and they're not live streamed anywhere. So I join as part of the conversation. However, if you're live streaming somewhere, know that all of a sudden people would be watching and they would not be seeing anything.
Who is Andy?
He is one of the original people that joined, and oops, we have an unassigned participant in. It still thinks we're in the Zoom room or in the breakout room. So I got a notification that said unassigned participant, and this happens, right? So we have to close those rooms. We have to close all of the rooms so that they get done. We've really messed up those Zoom. Hello, Andy. Do you have a camera so we can see who you are? Want to make sure that you're in the right meeting with the right people. And you're muted if you're trying to talk.
Yeah.
So when somebody is not unmuted, then I ask them to unmute. They should get a pop-up that tries. Sometimes people are confused.
Bottom left.
And if, yeah. And if it doesn't work, we pop them back into the waiting room.
Oh.
So you have control of your room, right?
How did you move him into the waiting room?
So you go ahead and click on me. And right beside my mute button.
Gone. Is that okay?
Yep. He wasn't unmuting. So click on me, and right beside you see the 3 dots. Right? So there should be a word mute and then 3 dots.
I think in participants or on you? Oh, on you. I got you. Okay.
On my face.
Yep.
Now it might not show up there, but when I clicked on the 3 dots with him, I could ask him to unmute. I could turn off his camera or ask him to turn on his camera, or I could send him back to the waiting room.
Okay. Now, so you clicked on his video and it showed up that you could move him somewhere. But you know, when I click on yours, it just says mute, stop video, pin, spotlight to everyone, make host, rename, and report.
Yes, and the reason being is I'm a co-host, so it's giving me extra permission.
So I can't throw you out.
Well, you could take my co-host away from me and then throw me out. Yes, you could. So Andy, if you are watching this on the Facebook group, live stream to the Facebook group, we aren't picking on you. We didn't kick you out because we don't like you. We just don't know who it was. And if somebody got the wrong link and ended up in the wrong place, we didn't want them. So if you are coming back in and you want to practice with us, join the link that you found in the first place and come back in, and then get off of mute, tell us who you are, and turn your camera on, and we welcome you to come play and practice with us. Yeah. So one of the other things that I was just thinking about, I went off of, we were in breakout rooms. Oh,
Debbie, the train went into the tunnel and disappeared. That's what happens with me all the time. Yeah.
So one of the things I think I was in the middle of explaining is that when you're in breakout rooms and you leave this, it's live streaming into a group. If we all leave, they get to come in here and they're live streaming into blackness. And they're like, what is this? There's no screen unless you would put up a shared, like put up a note with your share screen and says, we're all in breakout rooms. We'll be back in 5 minutes. If you want to be professional and do that, go right for it. The other thing to notice, and if you've been in Tony Robbins things, you're not recording inside of breakout rooms. So anything that somebody says or does inside of breakout rooms, you have to let them know that if they want to keep notes, to do that on their own. Nobody else is doing that part of it for you. So why I'm saying this to you is, guys, you're doing a paid workshop. You're charging people money for this, but you know that you've let people know that then you will be selling the course, this recording, as an evergreen later. Now, you have to let people know that what they're paying for does not include the breakout rooms, or else people are going to get mad at you and go, well, that part of it just wasn't there. So yes, you're going to get the recording. The breakout rooms are not going to be part of it, although you could write up like a little bit of a summary of what they talked about and what some of the aha moments. But here's why I always bring people back into the main area, and I ask for summaries.
You get them to share. Yeah.
Because now it's recorded and now they get something out of it. And that's part of that engagement and getting people to really, the more you put in, the more you get out of the workshop or seminar or whatever you want to call it.
I
Okay.
have 2 minutes before I pay for my next one.
Yeah. So ask me any questions.
I don't have any right now. I've just been taking notes. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. You know, we might do it again and do another practice session where more people can do it. One of the things that KK is doing now, because she has found it so valuable, people want to connect. So if you guys do a workshop or a mastermind or something that you're bringing your community together and you're talking on stage like this and you're going into breakout rooms, but excuse me, 80 or higher percent, you were doing the talking. And you just know that your community wants to connect at a deeper level. They want to have more time to talk. What KK is doing now is at the end of her sessions, she's inviting you to go into the breakout rooms and stay there as long as you want. So you put people in for 5 people in a room, you tell them the topic, you tell them who's going to start, the person with the longer hair. You have to give the instructions. The people with the longest hair is going to start. The person with the shortest hair is going to write down the names and the IG, Instagram handles so that we can connect outside of this. And here's what the topic is. So you have 3 minutes each to share, and here's what you're going to share about. So you've started the conversation, but if at the end of it, they all had their time to share and 4 out of the 5 want to stay, then she allows that to happen. Now, you remember they're using your Zoom account. So you give themselves you say, I'll keep it open for 20 minutes, or I'll keep it open for an hour, whatever you want to do to allow them time to connect. And then all of a sudden you just go in and you end the meeting and they're all done and they know the rules. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And you facilitated something that other people are not giving them.
Right.
Essentially their own little mastermind, which is pretty cool.
And people, she calls it Power Fives. And I've been implementing that into my masterminds and my programs ever since the very first time, which I think was last September. And it's very powerful, very powerful. People make lifelong friendships out of these when you ask a theme and then allow them to have, and especially because it's at the end. Yeah, we'll talk to you later, Terry. Thanks for popping on.
Take care, Terry. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, so especially when it's at the end of your talk, because now their state, their acceptance of, what are they open to, they go in and they can talk to complete strangers in a way that's different than if you would have done it in the first 10 minutes of them coming on that call with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So Matt, do you have any other questions or anything that you would like to ask or that I can help with?
Deb, I'm really grateful for you coming in and sharing all this. It's just wonderful. A lot of good new stuff. And I'm actually thinking that what I will do, because this is long enough that I don't want to continue it on, but I will go on by myself, to myself, and go and recreate making a Zoom, because I've done that before and I practiced like 2 of them. You know, the only nightmare is that you never totally know whether it's recording. Sometimes I've done the wrong little gizmo and I go blah, 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 blah. And I finish 20 minutes and I replay and I go, there's nothing there, you know, so, but it's okay. I think now I'm getting enough confidence that I can do that, you know, and yeah, it's almost like creating a course. It's really interesting.
Absolutely. So 2 of the things that come up that were on my list is that when I set up in zoom.us, I set it up for under recordings all the way I want it recorded. And I want it recorded in screen share, in speaker view, in gallery view, and with the chat and with the audio. And the reason I do all of those is I repurpose it in different ways. So if you're saying that you did all this stuff and nothing was there, it could have been that you were in screen share, but you were recording in speaker view, so nothing showed up.
Huh.
So if you have all of those different things, now when I go back into recording, I just go, oh, I want it in gallery view so it shows all of the people. But oh, today I had quite a few shy people and they wouldn't want to be part of this when I've recorded it. So I'm going to repurpose it only in speaker view, because then it's only going to be me or whoever spoke up. It'll popcorn back.
Right.
Now,
right.
What that also brings up is the fact that you can highlight or pin certain videos so it doesn't pop up to other people. And there's a couple reasons to do that. Say me and you were going to be you were the interviewer and I was the guest, but we had an other audience, 10 other people that were also in the room that maybe they unmuted and all of a sudden it picked up their mic and then it tried to put them on there. Well, if me and you are spotlighted, it can't do that. So it's a way of making sure that only the people, then that recording is clear. Now the noise would show up, but we know how to mute people really quickly, so that's okay. But it's just a way of not having to redo so much of your stuff. The other thing that you brought up is that I use Zoom all the time, and I have forever, in recording courses. So you've done all this prep work and you've done this presentation, you've got it all perfect. You've sent out your invites and no one shows up. Well, it's a perfect time for you to just do it. Yeah, and talk to the audience on the other side of the screen as if you're talking to a room full of Zoom people. You hit record, and when they ask for the recording, they get it. If they don't ask for the recording, no worries, you've repurposed it. Maybe as a freebie that you give out on a lead magnet, maybe as sharing with somebody else later when somebody asks you to be a guest on a podcast or a summit. You can share it as extra knowledge that you're willing to give. And it didn't cost you anything because you were already ready and you needed the practice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, for example, this morning I have done, I did 2 dry runs of my presentation of starting Zoom, you know, on a blank Zoom screen, not somebody else's, but a blank one. So you had to enter it all through. And, you know, it's not the perfect one. So I will do another one. But, you know, the same thing. But what I wanted to ask you is, once I've completed that, can I go to, who are those guys that
are you talking about Rev?
Upwork.
Oh, okay.
Upwork, or one of those outfits that would they be able to make that into a slightly more flashy presentation?
Yeah, so the real answer is yes, they can always make it flashier and more professional looking. but you always want to have the best foundation recording as possible, or it's just going to cost you so much money that it's ridiculous. As a photographer, it drives me nuts when people will say, oh, don't worry, we'll fix it in Photoshop. Don't ever do that, because it would cost you a fortune. So, you know, I can definitely give you more tips on how to make it easy to make it flashy. And some of those things are just taking a little bit of time to pause in between segments, just as if you were doing a module, right?
Okay, okay.
The other thing is if you actually do want to do modules, but you want to sit down and do it all at once, I do this when I'm interviewing a whole bunch of people at once. Like I just said, 10 people in the waiting room, they're all sitting right here watching this person be interviewed. They're next. So what I do with that is I'm hitting record now, and in between people, I say stop recording. That actually creates a different recording for each person. So each module will be its own recording, so that then when you go back in afterwards, all you have to do is name it. Either the interview or module 1, module 2, or whatever you were talking on, because you've got it listed out already in your outline of what you were going to speak about.
Oh, wow.
So
So
I
when
do.
you say, so let me see if I understood you. I am doing the first person, let's say, Deb. I'm doing you on a module, and then I pause it. No?
You have to actually click stop. If you pause it, that's a pause is just, it stops it. We can call, you know, answer the phone, we can do whatever, but it'll start right back up. You have to say stop recording. And then when you click start recording, it'll start a brand new piece, a brand new recording.
Oh, even if I'm on screen share, is that right?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, that's how I do it.
Or it actually doesn't matter so much. I just terminate it and go back in, right?
Yeah. But make sure you write it down, which each one's, because when you're going to go back in later, you're going to see 10 different recordings under that one meeting. And as you don't want to have to watch each one, you just want to go in quickly and rename them. So they're there and saved.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's a work in process, and I'm getting better. And you know, it'll be very interesting. I do want to create a Zoom course with all this play that I've had so far. I think I'm ready to record like an introductory Zoom course, and that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and I believe you are too. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch your replays, but just even how thorough you are in sending out the PDFs and the graphics and setting it up, even that alone. And so what I like to do is, as you get better, you want the first bit as your freebie lead magnet. You want to introduce people to your teaching style. You want to get them interested. You want to know who are your people that are watching your conversations or whatever, wherever they found you, that say, hey, I'd like to learn more about Matt. Now they sign up, they're on an email list, and you can nurture them later. Even if Zoom, introduction to Zoom wasn't important to them, the next one you do that is the advanced Zoom, or it's a webinar Zoom, or if it's something else that it's, you know, one of your technical things you teach, then they're already on your nurture list. We get so used to putting people inside of Facebook groups and thinking that they're our audience forever. They don't belong to us unless we have their email. So you already are a long ways in front of that. And then, so you teaching little things like that that are simple for you, don't underestimate the value you're giving.
Watch this, Deb. This is, I'm going to screen share something for you real quick. So I'm not quite sure. No, I think I'm on the wrong page here, but that's okay. Here we go. Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. Oh, but it won't let me do that. I think you know what? I'm thinking that I'm showing you something and I'm not at the moment.
Matt, I now see it's a white box. Okay.
Okay. Because
Yeah, I was
right now, I'll tell you what, let me try this. Or that guy. No, it's not letting me do that. One moment. Do you see that?
Yep, I do. Yep.
So remember what you said? Look at this.
Yeah.
This is Debbie, she is a champion, her interest is. You said to me, do that for your people. So this is my email list, which, if you click up on one of those corners in the Zoom when you're setting it up, you can copy the email list. And I do that. I copy the email list so I don't blast everybody with all the leads that I'm using, with the whole spiel of the talk that I'm inviting them to. I'm just saying, hey, watch out, it's coming. And I use this list. But right there is what you had suggested to me, which is, with each person, make a recording of who they are and why they are there and all of that sort of stuff. So very cool. And you also asked me if it was the same URL. So I went back in and checked.
Perfect. Okay, let's stop streaming to Facebook.
Oh, yes.
How to do that. So under more, unless you don't have more anymore.
Stop live streaming.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you want to stop recording as well, or you want to finish this up, but I want to talk to you off camera for something else.
I'll stop recording because I'm going to go and do my own